Hey everyone, either welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today's science video is going to be about fact versus theory. And this is going to be in the terms of science. And actually, in the terms of science, there is no difference between these two terms. They both actually mean the same thing. But I want to get into this in a little bit more deeper detail because this is something that people who fall for conspiracy theories can actually have issues with. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Ashley Stewart. I make videos about idiopathic intracranial hypertension and what it's like to live with the condition on Mondays. And on Thursdays, I make science-related content. So like I said, today's video is going to be fact versus theory. So as I did with the correlation versus causation video, I will link that above because I think it's a good tie-in to this video actually, because it's another term versus another term. If we're looking at fact versus theory in science, they actually mean pretty much the same thing. So a fact is a known idea about a particular concept, and a theory is just a set of facts, basically makes up a scientific theory. Theory is held as the top in science. It is not used as in the way I just use it in the word conspiracy theorist or conspiracy theory. It's not just a hypothesis, which actually means below theory if you break it down into its meaning. I'm gonna be doing a video eventually on the scientific process. With fact versus theory, you're gonna find this in really bad pseudoscience. So they'll say, oh, well, evolution is just a theory, or gravity is just a theory. Honestly, if you don't think gravity is real, you drop a pencil and it falls because of gravity. With this kind of a thing, it's not just a hypothesis. It's something that's been measured. It's something that is known to be true. So with evolution just describes the changes from one particular type of species, and usually they divulge into two, known as divergent evolution. But sometimes in nature, you just happen to have similar traits that are desirable. So they'll appear to share similar traits before and it'll actually converge. So that's actually convergent evolution. But like I said, so divergent, you're going off from a branch. Think of it as a branch. This is the common thing that you see with the phylogenetic trees. And with the convergent evolution, you're kind of having two things come into one. So this isn't going to happen in species, but you could see this happen with like things like wings or stuff like that. Similar types of benefits that would benefit one population of an animal and another population of an animal, I guess. Evolution is a fact, but it's also a theory because there is so much evidence supporting evolution that we actually have enough evidence to say that it appears to be so high now that it's actually given its own theories. Basically a huge topic of information. And if you were to be able to disprove something in that particular theory, you are probably going to end up winning a Nobel Prize because there's so much supporting these ideas and so many different types of evidence supporting these ideas. Basically, there is no fact versus theory in science. It's basically the same thing, is my whole point. I want to use evolution because it's something that I really understand quite well. So take for example antibiotics resistance. Overuse of antibiotics has been a problem for a long time. This has been a problem in medicine. It's been a problem in agriculture, in particular countries. It's basically, if you overuse something, you get a resistance to it. It can happen in a few different ways. Antibiotics will not work on a viral infection. And in fact, if it does work on a viral infection, it's purely coincidence. It's just your body was probably already done fighting that infection by that point. So if it really honestly helped, it probably wasn't helping as much as you thought it would be. And it's honestly probably more of a mind game than anything else. The fact that you're taking a pill and you're probably getting a placebo out of it. That's really all that's going on. Antibiotic resistance actually has been used by scientists in the lab, actually. And I'm going to get into a little bit of molecular biology here. So plasmid DNA in bacteria is actually DNA that is not included in the nucleoid region. So remember with bacteria, they're prokaryotic. So like I said, with prokaryotic cells, you don't have any organelles. So there is no nucleus, there are no mitochondria. It's basically all the parts that the bacteria needs are freely floating and quite accessible. There is a concentration of DNA that is nuclear DNA in the center, but you also have extracellular DNA. This is called plasmid DNA, and it's on these plasmids that you actually get a expression of genes that can code for antibiotic resistance. Let's say a particular bacteria, I'm not going to use examples because I don't know these off the top of my head, but let's say a particular antibiotic is resistant to penicillin. This is actually quite common. Penicillin has been used for so long and is quite a common antibiotic for bacteria to become immune or non-responsive to. So with penicillin, I'm going to insert a plasmid. So with the plasmid, you have different parts of the plasmid, but you have the antibiotic resistant gene, and you have another gene that you can insert a new DNA. This is how genetic engineering is done. You have an origin of replication, which is how the DNA is replicated. And it's actually, they use this type of plasmid so they can select for specific cells, because you want to be able to make sure that your cells have the genes that you want. So they do this by using antibiotic resistant bacteria. I'm going to use the one where they don't finish it all the way, because this is where evolution actually really shines. So when the person doesn't finish taking the antibiotics completely, some of the bacteria may not all be gone, because the bacteria that are more resistant will hang around longer. So if you happen to kill almost all the bacteria that don't have the antibiotic resistant genes, but these bacteria that are left do, you've actually selected for the genes that code for antibiotic resistance. And obviously through binary fission with prokaryotic cells, which is cell division in binary in prokaryotic cells, mitoses, and eukaryotic cells. So when you have the bacteria performing the binary fission, they will replicate their DNA, of course. That's how a cell divides. When one has the gene for antibiotic resistance encoded into it already into the plasmid, that one's been automatically selected for. So that's an example of how natural selection can happen in your own body, basically. But that's basically the main point I wanted to get across, that evolution is a theory, but it's also a fact. Fact versus theory and the way we use it in everyday language is not the same as we use it in science. So just keep that in mind. Hope you enjoyed this video and were able to learn something interesting off of it. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you guys want to leave me a comment, go ahead. Don't forget, you can also contact me via Messenger, Story, Instagram, direct messaging on Twitter, whatever you guys want. Basically, I can respond to it. But as for now, that's it for today, and bye everyone!